everyone, welcome back to Marketing 100. I'm Kayle, your salon and spa business bestie, and I'm joined today, as always, by my good friend and the founder of the Salon Business, John Hallberg. We're on a mission to bring you 100 snackable, tactical beauty business tips so that you can level up your salon business game, and today is no different. John, what are we talking about today?
What I want to talk about today is how to make sure that your team are your best brand ambassadors and your best marketing channel to promote your business. This is crucial for a number of reasons. Firstly, your team is the biggest expense that you have on your P&L. Generally, this is about half of your total cost. The interaction that your team has with your clients is the most powerful way of communicating. And I think we just take this for granted many times because we're in a salon business, we're in a service business. Sometimes we have clients in the chair for, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, right? And we're sitting there, we're even physically touching that client, and we're building super strong relationship. We're building trust in a way that very few businesses do. You cannot really compare it with any other form of marketing. This is such a valuable time, and we need to make sure we're making the most out of it.
A core element of human interaction and culture and society is touch and grooming, right? Grooming is one of the oldest practices that any species shares at all. And we can see that in the animal kingdom. We see that in the human world as well. John's laughing because this. I'm swinging wide here, but it is true. Grooming is a fundamental animal trait.
I love when you swing wide, Kayle.
As I've said before, we are all monkeys, and in this case, we're no different.
I don't know where we're heading now.
It's an anthropological talk. You've tuned into Anthropology 101, Anthropology 100. I mean, anyway, touch is extremely important, and it's one of those things that helps connect people in any society. It's a very important thing, and I think it's one thing that we overlook a lot when it comes to service businesses that have to do with beauty and wellness. Is it's one of the few spaces where it's acceptable to receive touch from somebody else in a way that is, it's professional, it's safe, it's moderated, and it's acceptable. It builds relationships in a way that I don't think we really think about. It's sort of a subconscious thing, that touch that really endears us to our service providers. And it helps build really strong relationships. I've seen it time and time again in the salons that I've run in the past, and the spas as well. It's something that really connects people. Keep that in mind with your clientele. Keep that in mind with your stylists and service providers. They are in a unique position to be able to get close to their clientele and build trust with them. And that extends so far into how you're able to market your business, the love that you're able to engender for your business and the services that you provide. That should be built into your culture. It should be baked in. It should be important to you. And it's something that you should be thinking about at all times when it comes to how you represent your brand.
How do you make sure that the communication and the experience is on par with your brand and is in line with how you want your brand to be perceived? The first one is going to be team culture. This is a huge thing, right? Everyone will feel if the culture is right when they walk into your business, or if something is off. You feel if people, feel good about their job, and the whole energy. You can touch that. I'm sure you've experienced that as well when you walk into business and when something is not right. It's just weird, right? And there's a scale of that. So having the right culture within your team is a huge one, right? Culture first, but then training. How can we train your team on communication so that they communicate in the way that you want? Either you do this regularly, right? Where you do a team offsite, you go somewhere every 6 months, every year, depending on how you do it, but that you really have some time set aside to focus on communication and train your team on communication skills. That can make a huge difference. At the very practical level, how long does it take until someone is saying hi to that client or approaching that client and taking care of that? Or how long time are you leaving them to kind of be in that awkward moment of not really knowing what to do? That could be one. It could be around messaging, right? If people are messaging your business, emailing you, texting you, how do you deal with that? How, what's your policy on how do you respond so that people get a swift reply and feel comfortable as they come into your business? I think that's a key area. So you will need to define what is that for your business and then train your team on that. The other piece is around active listening. We tend to talk too much and not really listen. Training your team on what does it mean with active listening? What does it mean to really understand what the client is saying? And not being in a place where you're kind of listening to the client, but while you're listening to the client, you're kind of going into what should I be responding and thinking about what you're doing in here, but really deeply listening and understanding what your client is telling you. Training your team on this will make sure that they actually really understand, and your level of service and what you deliver will be better. The other area is around any non-verbal communication. What people say is only like a small, like the words that are coming out is a small part of what is actually being communicated. Are they putting a hand on the shoulder when they're saying this? Are they talking to the mirror? Are they like leaning in front of the client? Are they smiling? All of these things are like strong signals, even stronger than the actual words that are coming out in their mouths. So like how training your team on like understanding those. But the same goes the other way. It's like, how do you actually read your client? Coming back to the active listening of really understanding. It's not enough to just listen to what your client says, but actually like looking at them. Are they like looking stressed? Are they like looking a different way, looking at their watch? Like picking up on all of those to make sure that you can then respond in the right way to the client is another way to really make sure that you understand them on a deeper level and can then obviously like deliver a better service. Another area is when it comes to managing difficult clients, which can be a true energy drainer for the team as well to just deal with them. So how do you actually go through that? And I think there's both an element of like mindset of how should your team, handle this so they don't like carry that with them for the rest of the day, which impacts their whole day and impacts all the interactions they have with other clients. How should they actually deal with those clients? And how do you actually respond to them and turn those difficult clients into kind of a positive experience for them as well, right? So that's certainly an area that I think like role playing and like going into the details of how should we actually be dealing with those clients could be worth spending some time on. There's a number of different areas when it comes to like how do we educate our clients, because I think this is one as well. And it comes into like selling, it's the same thing, right? That should be educating. That's part of the service, right? But like how should we be doing that and how should we think about that? And obviously that's closely connected to sales as well, right? Education and sales is very, very close to each other. If you're building a training, just to kind of give you some thought starters, there's more things we could do. We can go into like your values of the business and workshop on those. We can go into practical matters like the software. How do you communicate with your clients through that? How do we work on like social media platforms? Like all of these like technical aspects, like these practical matters could for sure be part of it as well. And maybe you won't be able to cover all inside like one training session. But I believe having this as a theme, making this a priority and making sure that people in your team understands that it is a priority, how you communicate, how you show up in front of clients, and doing that on a regular basis can make a massive difference to your business.
I also think that there's probably a lot of business owners who don't think about the consistency of their brand on a daily basis. Like they're not really thinking about like, is this particular stylist following guidelines that represent my brand to a T? Or if I were to be able to listen in on that conversation, would there be things that I would suggest to do differently? It's really not something I think a lot of business owners focus on regularly or constantly or make a continual focus for their conversations with their staff. And that is a huge missed opportunity. Your stylists, your service providers, as much as they don't like to think of themselves as salespeople, they are selling your salon every day, all day long, with everything they do, right? With the way that they treat their clients, with the care that they give, with the recommendations they make, whether they're recommending product or they're just being a decent human being and being, great to be around, or funny, or a good listener, or just remembering things that their clients told them. That's such a small thing, but it makes such a big difference. All of these things sort of play a role in establishing your business as a place where people come to, are cared for, and they're valued, and making sure that those tenets are upheld, making sure that it's baked into your culture, making sure that it is a core element of who you are, is going to go so much farther than any kind of like product training or anything like that. Like this is the core of your business, and every single one of your stylists should be on the same page. They shouldn't all be the same person, but you should all be on the same page with your mission and what you're pushing for. So there are ways that you can learn about this. There's a great course that we did on creating customer loyalty that you can find linked in the description below. I highly recommend you check out that full course. There's a lot of great tips there on all these really subtle things that make a huge difference in how your clients perceive you and why they want to come back.
It's magic what you have there. That interaction with clients between your team members and communication is key there. You know this and you are doing things already. I know that. But I think if you're like rolling your eyes like, of course we're like doing this, I bet you have work to do. Like we all have work to do. This is one thing that we just need to come back to. We just need to train on. So like, I think, really taking this seriously, building a strong team culture that people feel the vibe of, training your team on how they should be communicating with clients are the key points that we want to leave you with today.
All right, everybody, that's what we've got for you today. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Marketing 100. If you want more snackable, tactical marketing tips like these, make sure you get subscribed. It's that little button down below. And if you liked what we had to talk about today, feel free to drop a like. We wouldn't be bummed about that. If you got questions for us, drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think. Are these tactics ones that you would employ in your salon? Do you hate them? Tell us why. But anyway, we're really looking forward to seeing you in another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you very, very soon. Bye now.